You know, we get up here and then we lose all track of time, which is actually appropriate, because I'm going to read you a poem that has to do with time. It began with my daughter has or had a biology textbook, and when she was in grade 12, I was sort of leafing through, and I was just fascinated by cell division. And so I was asking her all these questions. You'd think I'd have learned it the first time around, but no. And so she was patiently explaining things to me. And but I said, "This is so great. This is so interesting." You know, well, Mom, but it's cell division. But it just went on in my mind, and then I began thinking about it as the very beginning of the world, the very beginning of everything, you know, these cells dividing, multiplying, dividing, multiplying. And so this poem is called Book of Beginnings. It goes on for a little bit, so just bear with me. Before you were a cell, dividing into cells and more cells. Before blue deepening and unwinding inside blue, before blue-gray, before the envelope of morning, before opening the crisp envelope of morning, before afternoon and afternoon's picked threads, before evening, before the scattering of evening's fish scales, before crumpled dark, before tarnished dark, before glove soft dark, before world not yet world, all undone and unmade, thick and ancient, furred by weather, not yet weather, creased and lined, rock and water, linen thin water and rock, unseamed, bulky, dense, and smooth, not birth, not death, both icy and steamy, sounds, not yet sounds, darkness before darkness, and light before light, beginning and ending, ending and beginning, woven and braided and wood smoke fragrant and not wood smoke fragrant, shot through with glistening and murmuring, unmurmuring cloud of murmuring, also glistening, linen thin water and rock, rock and water, unseamed, furred by the weather, not furred, line, crease, steamy and icy, smooth, not birth, not death, all undone, done, made and unmade. Now, you are the world dividing. You are day divided from night, night from day, minute from minute, hour from hour. Time begins sliced into now and then and meanwhile and later, so a story can be made of it. Your story will have other stories inside it, but one story, the familiar story, will separate itself and become a plot full of rising action and falling action, and other stories will become indistinguishable subplots, so that telling them apart will be the same as separating water from water, or separating water from air, or air from water, or separating the waters of the firmament from the waters below. You are dark inside dark, and within this dark, intricate contraptions of darker darkness, night being, non-being, things have their places. Your place is behind them, but your wish is to soften them, call them back to what they were, what they could have been. This is what you try to say as light begins, grows, diminishes you. Day with its extravagances, you take command, expose dust in the corners, but there's something to one side that needles, a time before the smear on the mirror, before tinkering, before the ululation of a siren, before scarlet, before latches, before eyes, before opening and closing, before the pecking of this. You are spaciousness. You reach and keep reaching without meeting resistance. This is what it is to be above all things, to be wide and unsullied, yet also to gather. Gather and let go. The work of the wind in its passing. No need to possess anything. In the spaciousness, there are many cupboards, empty, empty. Clouds glide over earth loosely and without purpose. You are clarity and distance without clutter. without pockets made for nickels, crumbs, paper clips, or strips of paper from fortune cookies, or words on strips of paper, or making, or scissoring, or question, or answer, or wind sifting the answer when the question has been forgotten. Only spaciousness. You are depth and more depth, earthing and earthed, and silence about to burst. Before the grass, new blades, grass and grass and grass, shoving forward, clover nodding through, muscling into the world, grass, ferns, sedges, a loose scatter of coltsfoot. On the branches of the tree, hundreds of small red pagodas forming themselves into leaves. Above, the spoon tip of goldfinches, a yellow wing daubed with black, and swallows pulling at the edges of air. When they die, you'll bring them back into yourself, cover them, remember them. But this isn't the time. This is the time of damp soil, its metallic scent, and buds about to unsleeve themselves. Smell, taste. This is where they begin, where they rise. Through you, everything becomes known to itself. Fire, you are what you embrace, heat in its 1,000 costumes, so you consume, thriving on beginnings, a tirade, then a benediction of embers, blackened remnants, ash, a layer of velvet dressed up as beauty when it's merely wreckage. Endlessly spending, losing, spending more. All that is born in you is fluid, slipped and slipped and slipped from one thing to the next, sliding over and under whatever is firm and solid when nothing is firm or solid. You have the power of undoing, unmaking, glint and murmur and rinse, and the cool beginning of silver, water, a sound at the threshold of hearing turned inside out. A lover seeking a way in, a way through, sleek and glimmering as rain, and not rain, but brook and river and lake and ocean, unceasing and open. An answer withdrawn and reinvented into another answer, rolling and cresting and slapping sand, pulled back. Never slow enough to hold, to be held, the beating at the rim of the world. You are making yourself. Beginning, ending, beginning.